In Bereshit Kaf Bet, we come across the story of Akedat Yitzchak, in which God puts Avraham to the ultimate test.
Avraham is faced with the dilemma of choosing between sacrificing his son and abandoning his faith in God.
It says, B'yom hashlishi vayesa Avraham et ha'inav vayera et hamakom mirachok.
Meaning, on the third day, Avraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place from afar.
Why did God wait to show Avraham? Rashi answers this question by saying, it is so that the people wouldn't claim that God mixed up and surprised Avraham suddenly and confused his mind. And Avraham had time to consider it and that he had a choice.
This shows that God wanted to make sure that Avraham was going to be loyal and wouldn't change his mind after a few days. From this we learn that Avraham is a trustworthy man and is very loyal and faithful.
Avraham gathered his donkey, 2 men, and his son to journey to the land of Moriah to sacrifice his son to Hashem.
Along with him, he brought wood for the burnt offering and his profound faith in God.
How did Avraham choose? Did he act on instinct, or was it based on pure faith in God?
When they reach the place of the offering, Avraham instructs the 2 men he brought with him to stay back with the donkeys.
And Avraham said to his men, Shvu lachem po im hachamor va'ani v'hana'ar nilacha ad ko v'nishtachave v'nashuva elechem.
Meaning, stay here with the donkey, and I and my son will go yonder, and we will bow down and return to you.
Why does Avraham say, we will return to you? Did he already know what was going to happen, or was this an unintended implication?
Rashi concludes, based on Rabbi Natan's teachings from Avot, that during this time Avraham prophesied the return of both him and his son.
However, we concluded that Avraham simply had no knowledge of what the future held for him and his son.
And then it said, Vayikach Avraham et hatzi ha'olah, vayisam al Yitzchak bano, vayikach beyado et ha'esh, ve'et ha'me'achalet, vayachlu shnehem yachdav.
Meaning, and Avraham took the wood for the burnt offering, and he placed it upon his son Isaac. And he took into his hand the fire and the knife, and they both went together.
By saying they both went together, this shows the willingness of Avraham and how he was prepared to fulfill the request of God.
Once they arrived at the mountain, Avraham began to place the wood on the altar and prepare for the sacrifice.
Subsequently, following Abraham's preparation, just as he raises his knife, a malach appears and calls him forth.
Avram, Avram, he says. Avram responds, Hineni, here I am.
The malach tells Avraham to lower his knife and to instead slaughter the ram standing before him, for he had shown to be a God-fearing man.
Because of Avram's loyalty, God blesses Avraham and all of his descendants in honor of his unquestioning devotion.
Ki barech avarecha v'harbe arbe et zarecha kechovi hashamayim v'kechol asher al sfat hayam v'yirash zarecha et sha'ar aviv v'yit barchu b'zarecha kol goy haaretz ekev asher shamat b'koli.
Meaning, that I will surely bless you, and I will greatly multiply your seed as the stars of the heavens and as the sand that is on the seashore, and your descendants will inherit the cities of their enemies. And through your children shall be blessed all the nations of the world, because you hearken to my voice.
From this we can extrapolate a lesson of how devotion to God can lead us to prosperous, fecund lives.
This story has exuded one of the most important principles in Sefer Yetzirat HaAdam. From this story, we see the exemplar relationship between Avraham and God. This trust that Avraham has with God is what makes him so righteous. It's what sets him apart from Adam and Chava. They never had such a mature relationship with God.
Avraham is capable of saying, "Here I am," when God calls upon him, because he has nothing to hide. However, when God calls forth Adam and Chava, they try to hide themselves. Overall, we can see how Avraham has become more mature and put all of his faith in God, and in return, he has received a great blessing.
Ultimately, humans as a whole learn about relationships between father and son and the respect that a son should follow his father no matter what. The relationship between father and son is greatly influenced by religion and one's upbringing. We also learn about the relationship between man and God. We learn that we should have faith in God no matter how extreme his requests may be and whether or not we agree with his requests or actions.
This demonstrates Avraham's triumph over the challenge of having to choose between God and his son. By choosing God, Avraham is spared the tragedy of losing his son. We must always put our trust in God, knowing that everything happens for a reason.